BhagavatSanga program. This is our Srimad Bhagavatam program where we read prayers of pure devotees from Srimad Bhagavatam. The current theme is uh, prayers of King Chitraketu. It's from Canto 6, Chapter 16, verse 34 to 48. Today we have a very wonderful devotee, Aditi Mataji, who will be presenting the verses and her realizations. And this is Mataji's first Bhagavatsanga presentation. Welcome, Mataji. We're looking forward for your presentation. Over to you.
Hare Krishna, everyone. First, I'd like to thank Satyasara Prabhu, Jaya Subhadra Mataji, Veena Mataji, and Prashant Prabhu for giving me an opportunity to present this session. This is my service to Sri Krishna, and if I make any mistakes, please forgive me. Today, we are going to talk about the prayers of King Chitraketu. First, I'm going to summarize the verses 34 to 39. And then I will go in detail with the verses 40, 41, 42, 43, which explains the Bhagavata Dharma. So let's first start with we'll start with the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Shrunvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hrudayantosti Abhadrani Vidunoti Sruhat Satam Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Neshtaki Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So before I start going to the verses, we'll just say something about who Maharaj Chitraketu was and why did he do these prayers to the Lord? What was the reason? So we say in the province of Surashena, there was a king named Chitraketu who ruled the entire earth. This Chitraketu had many wives, but none of them could give him a child. One day, Maharaj Angiraj landed up in his Raj Bhavan and he said, "Hey Rajan, you will soon be blessed with a son, but he will be the reason for both your happiness and sorrow." To be in the company of his newly born child, the king started spending more time with his mother, the eldest queen, Kridduti. The other wives, felt neglected that the king was not giving them importance, only because the other queen had the child. So they became jealous and they quietly poisoned the child and he died. Maharaj Chitraketu, upon hearing about the death of his precious child, fell unconscious next to his body like an uprooted tree. Amid the cloud of sorrow and devastation, two distinguished personalities arrived in the Rajbhavan. Maharishi Angiraj, accompanied by Dev Rishi Narada. Narada, using his Divya Shakti, attracted the soul of the child. And as it came, he said, "See, my son, they are your parents, and they are mourning for you. So please get into your body to make them happy and start enjoying the royal life." The son said, "Dev Rishi, they are my parents of which life? A soul does not have any parents, brothers, or friends. All these relations are because of your mortal body. And as you leave your mortal remains behind, you also leave behind all your relations. And then everyone is all by himself and has to suffer as per his karmas. When Chitraketu was appeased, the great Narada gave him a mantra. And by chanting this mantra, Chitraketu found shelter at the lotus feet of Sankarsana. So now we come to the prayers of King Chitraketu. Chitraketuruvacha Ajita Jita Samamatibi Sadubhirbhavan Jitambhirbhavata Vijitaste api cha bhajatam Akamatmanam ya Atmadoti Karuna. Chitraketu, O conquerable Lord, although you may be conquered by anyone, you are conquered by devotees who have control of your mind and senses. The Lord is by nature very merciful, and when he sees that a servant is working for material profit, is not working for material profit, naturally he is conquered. Such devotees are also conquered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead because they are pure beings, free from all material desires. They fully surrender to the Supreme Lord, and therefore the Lord conquers them. The Lord and the devotees both conquer. The Lord is conquered by the devotees, and the devotees are conquered by the Lord. And because of being conquered by one another, they both derive transcendental bliss from this relationship. We, an example, are the gopis of Vrindavan. The gopis are conquered by Krishna. As soon as Krishna starts playing his flute, all the gopis will gather around him. And seeing the devotees' bhakti, Krishna also gets happy and is conquered. So this is the first verse. Now the second verse, 6.1635. Tava vibhava khalu bhagavan jagat udaya stiti layadini visvasrajaste amasam sas tatra mrusas vardhanti prathak abhimataya. So having explained this mutual control that the Lord and the devotees have over each other, Chitraketu now explains the powers of the Lord in the coming 3 verses. Vibhaha means greatness. Creation and destruction are your greatness. But we see that Brahma and others create the universe. Those creators are only portions of you. We can give an example saying a scientist creates airplanes, automobiles, so many different things. All the ingredients for them are supplied by the Supreme Lord. And even the intelligence for the so-called creation is also given by the Lord. When we talk about intelligence of the scientist, one must remember the words of the Supreme Lord, who said in the Bhagavad Gita, Mata smritir janam apohamcha. From me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Because the Supreme Lord as Super Soul sits within the core of every living entity's heart. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord also says, Mamai vansho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. They are nothing but very small portions of the Supreme Spirit. Like when you have a fire and the fire gives out sparks. So we are like the sparks of this whole fire. That is the comparison given here. We go to the next verse, which is 6.16.36. Paramanu parama mahato sa tvam adi antara varti traya viduraha adav ante apicha satvanam yadruham tad ivantarale api. The Lord exists in the beginning, middle, and end of everything. From the most minute particle of the cosmic manifestation, which is the atom, to the whole gigantic universe and the total material energy, you find the Lord is everywhere. Now, scientists say that the water is a combination of hydrogen and oxygen. But when we see this vast ocean, they are puzzled. But how large is this quantity of hydrogen and oxygen? And where does it come from? They think that everything evolves from the chemicals. Okay, then where did the chemicals come from? That they do not know. The Brahma Samhita says, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Shri Krishna is the origin of all. He has no other origin, and he is the prime cause of all causes. For example, a lemon tree produces tons of citric acid. The citric acid is not the cause of the tree. Rather, the tree is the cause of the citric acid. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of everything. Verse 6.16.37. Shitir adivir esa kilavartha sapta virdasa gunotarer andakosha yatra patati anukalpa sahanda koti koti bhistad ananta. Now, the origin of the material creation is Mahavishnu, who lies in the causal ocean. While he sleeps in that ocean, millions of universes are generated as he exhales, and they are all annihilated when he inhales. This Mahavishnu is a plenary portion of Vishnu or Govinda. From Krishna or Govinda comes Balrama. From Balrama comes Sankarsana. From Sankarsana, Narayan. From Narayan, the second Sankarsana. From the second Sankarsana, Mahavishnu. From Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu. And from Garbhodakshai Vishnu, Shirodakshai Vishnu. Shirodakshai Vishnu controls every universe. In fact, the entire material world manifests only 1/4 of the Supreme Lord's energy. When we see so many portions of the Lord, we know that is why he's called Ananta or unlimited. This verse also describes the coverings of the universe. Sapta bhir dasa gunotater andakosha. The first covering is earth, the second is water, third is fire, fourth is air, fifth is sky, the sixth is the total material energy, and the seventh is false ego. Verse 6.16.38. Vishayatraso narapasavo ya upasante vibhutirna param tvam te sam asisa isa tad anu visayanti yatharajakulam. This verse condemns the worship of the demigods. We may show our respect to demigods, but the demigods are not worshipable. Eager to enjoy like animals, man worships only parts of you, which are the demigods, and not your whole supreme being. The benedictions that the demigods bring are finished at the end of their term, just as it is with politicians. When a politician wants to be elected, he will make all the promises. Oh, you all will get this, you all will get that. Everything is promised. As soon as the term is over, all those promises vanish. Similarly, when their entire material cosmic manifestation is annihilated, the demigods are vanished. When the demigods are vanished, the benedictions given by the demigods to this unintelligent men will also be vanquished. Thus, it is the duty of a perfect human being, the one who has broader intelligence. They know that you have to worship the supreme whole, the personality of Godhead, and not all the various demigods like Indra, Surya, Chandra, etc. Okay, now we go to the next verse 6.16.39. Kamadiyas त्वयि रचयिता न परमरोहन्ति यथा करम भाविजानि ज्ञानात्मनि अगुणामये गुणात् अस्य द्वन्द्वजालानि. Even those who are obsessed with material desires may also come to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead and steadily advance in their practice. The fact is that when one comes to Krishna consciousness, although he may have material desires, he becomes increasingly attracted to the lotus feet of Krishna through associating with the Supreme Lord by chanting his holy name. The holy mantra, which is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is one of the most important mantras, one of the most, this is the way which you can actually associate with the Lord. So the Supreme Lord and this holy name are in fact identical. They are one and the same. Thus, he becomes uninterested in attachment. When you say this holy name, you become uninterested in attachment to material enjoyment. And when you become uninterested in material enjoyment, you become immune to the process of repeated birth and death. If one comes to Krishna consciousness somehow or the other, even for material gain, the result is that he will be liberated. Kamad dvesad bhayat snehat. Whether for the satisfaction of material desires, because of the influence of envy, or because of fear, because of affection, or because of any reason, if one comes to Krishna, life is going to be successful. Sometimes we may pray because we are fearful of something. We want something from the Lord. Whatever it is, do it, because gradually when you start associating with the Lord, you associate with the devotees, you say the holy mantra, you will start becoming more closer to the God and to Lord Krishna, and that way all your fears and material desires will start reducing. So that is what we learned from this. Okay, now that I've told you a little about all the verses, now we come to I'm going to tell you in detail on verses 40, 41, 42, 43, where the Bhagavata Dharma is explained. Okay, so when we go to Bhagavata Dharma, the first thing, the most important thing of Bhagavad Dharma is bhakti. What is bhakti is exalted to the highest position in Bhagavad Dharma. One can be liberated from all adverse circumstances simply by engaging in devotional service and surrendering to the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. Bhagavata Dharma means understanding Lord Krishna and being able to revive a forgotten relationship with him. As human beings, we have consciousness. Not like animals, we are human beings. We have consciousness, something which other living entities do not possess. Therefore, we should put this consciousness in good use. And we can do this by trying to understand God. Via so many scriptures, we have been given the Bhagavad Gita, the Srimad Bhagavatam. And if you learn all these scriptures under the guidance of a spiritual master, you will definitely come closer to God. In short, Bhagavad Dharma merely means that whatever we do with our body, speech, mind, and habit, all such acts should be dedicated to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. When you talk about pure devotional service, there are many processes through which we can do these devotional process and ultimately follow Bhagavad Dharma. So we have 9 devotional process. One is hearing about the Lord, which is Shravanam, glorifying the Lord, which is Kirtanam, remembering the Lord, which is Smaranam, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, Padasevanam, worshipping the Lord, Archanam, offering prayers to the Lord, Vandanam, serving the Lord, Dasyam, enjoying friendly association with Lord, Sakyam, and surrendering everything unto Him, which is Atma Nivedana. Now, while we are doing all this devotional service, there is no need to change one's prescribed duty. We can keep doing our duty, but everything should be done in Krishna consciousness. The perfection of such duties will reach the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hare, and He will be satisfied with the actions only if we go according to His wishes. For example, Arjuna's prescribed duty was to fight, and the perfection of his fighting was tested by the satisfaction of Krishna. Krishna wanted him to fight, and when he fought for the satisfaction of the Lord, that was the perfection of his professional duty, because he did what the Lord wanted him to do. The Bhagavatam says that if a living entity does not engage in the activity of transcendental service, he will fall into material activity. The false ego of identifying one's body as oneself and of claiming things possessed in relationship with this body. This is my house, this is my child, this is my husband, this is, all the material things, all this entangles us into Maya. As soon as one falls into these material activity, there is no rescue from, the cycle of birth and death. This word, this whole world, consists of hunger, thirst, fear, desire. We have so many things going on. We are therefore constantly tormented and exhausted. However, if you are a superior devotee and you understand and you follow the scriptures, you will constantly remember God, and then you will never be defeated by all these material activities. In Bhagavad Gita, in fact, Lord Krishna says, Ye tu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya matpara ananyeneva yogena mam dhyayante upasate tesam aham samurdharta mrityu sansara sagarat bhavami na chirat partha maya evesita chetasam. So what does this mean? The Lord says, for one who worships me, giving up all his activities onto me and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service, and always meditating upon me, who has fixed his mind upon me, O son of Pratha, for him I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. So this, we are not saying, this is written, this is the Lord is saying in the Gita, that if you fix your mind on me, you will be free from the ocean of birth and death. The followers of Bhagavata Dharma have no concept of you and I, yours and mine. There is no question of what you believe or what I believe. Everyone must believe in the Supreme Lord and carry out his orders. A Krishna conscious person thinks everything belongs to Krishna and everyone is part of him. Anukuleyena Krishnanu whatever Krishna says, whatever God says, should be directly carried out. That is dharma. That is Bhagavata Dharma. Bhagavata Dharma is also called Sarvokrishta, the best of all religious systems, because those who follow Bhagavata Dharma are not envious of anyone. The pure bhaktas, pure devotees invite everyone to join Krishna consciousness. There are no other religion which allows this. The Bhagavata Dharma is not a concocted sectarian belief, for it entails research to find how everything is connected to the Supreme, to Krishna. Isa Vasyam Idam Sarvam. The Supreme is present in everything. Now, we can give an example of this to better understand. For example, an engineer is building a big size skyscraper, while a devotee is constructing a big temple of Vishnu. Superficially, the person who is creating the skyscraper and the person who is doing the building are using the same material: wood, stone, iron, screws, the same instruments, everything. But the person who constructs the skyscraper is a materialist. And the person who constructs the temple is Atmarama. The materialist tries to satisfy himself in relation to his body by constructing a skyscraper. But the devotee tries to satisfy the super self, the supreme personality of Godhead, by constructing the temple. Although both are engaged in the association of material activities, the devotee is liberated, the materialist is conditioned. This is because the devotee who is constructing the temple has fixed his mind upon the supreme personality of Godhead. Whatever he is doing, his mind is fixed on the Lord. But the non-devotee who is constructing the temple, the skyscraper, his mind is fixed on sense gratification. Oh, I'm going to create the tallest skyscraper. It is going to have the best amenities. So all that is sense gratification. In fact, Prahlad Maharaj, who was one of the most purest devotee, he preached Bhagavata Dharma among his classmates. As soon as he was given an opportunity, when he saw that his teachers were not there, and when he was in school, he would start preaching the Bhagavata Dharma. In fact, it has been said that you should start this at a very early age. Then only you will understand this subject. In material existence, when a devotee is not completely purified, he expects material benefit from the Lord in the form of relief from material miseries or wants of material gain. But a pure devotee does not engage in these services for any material benefit. The highest example, as we had, which I had explained earlier, were the gopis of Vrindavan. For them, they did not want anything from the Lord. They were not even praying to the Lord to understand him. They were praying out of love, out of devotion. So the main thing for them was bhakti, that is love for the Lord. If you follow that, then you will be successful in life. All your wishes will be fulfilled without you asking anything from the Lord, because he knows everything. So in short, Bhagavata Dharma puts Lord Krishna in the driver's seat, and we have to cruise along in life with all the satsangs, with all association, with prayers, doing service to the Lord. The Supreme, for example, the Supreme Krishna is like your mother. When a child is with his mother, he's confident, he's not fearful. The same way, if we have the Bhagavad Dharma with you, you will have the confidence, you won't be fearful, you'll be able to face all the difficulties in your life. So Bhagavatam is like a mother for us. Like when a person is eating food, like he eats a morsel of food, you will get three things simultaneously when you're eating. Firstly, you'll get satisfaction because you're eating something you like. Second is you'll get nourishment. You're nourishing your body. And third, you'll get relief from hunger. You eat when you're hungry. Similarly, when a bhakta who has completely submitted himself to God, then he will find three things simultaneously. Firstly, he will find love of God, realization of God, and third, vairagya, a detachment towards everything other than Lord. I think with this, I end today's BhagavatSanga program. I hope if I've made any mistakes, please forgive me. Hare Krishna. Over to you, Veena Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, that was a fantastic presentation. Didn't feel like it was your first time at all. Very beautiful, Mataji. I really like how nicely you narrated the pastime and we could quickly connect. You gave the brief of it, and very nicely you recited all the prayers. Just quickly, two things I want to say where you focused on the chanting part. Like, chanting is the only way for us to connect with the Supreme Lord and for us to progress in bhakti and give up the material attachments and material miseries. That's how it'll go, all the fears and envy. And very nicely you picked up the verses and you gave the key points and the examples, so that was very easy to connect and understand. Finally, you so beautifully explained Bhagavad Dharma, which is bhakti, and we have to surrender to Supreme Lord and do the devotional service. Explained about this devotional services, 9 types, and what it means. I really like the example you gave on the construction of the skyscraper and temple. That helped us understand the Bhagavad Dharma and something that we carry. A beautiful presentation, Mataji, very nicely organized and structured. Thank you so much. With that, devotees, we conclude the BhagavatSanga program today. Thank you all for joining. We'll meet next week with another devotee presenting these verses. Hare Krishna.